for this week's video forum, we watched the video, the TED Talk of the mental health system and a call for change. I found this video particularly interesting because it gave a lot of facts that I hadn't heard before regarding mental health. Well, Nora stated that more people die from suicide than they do from car accidents or homicide. I think suicide is a growing issue in the United States as well as other parts of the world, and it needs to be addressed. I feel like suicide nowadays almost affects everybody indirectly. Nora did a great job in this TED Talk about describing mental health because she compared it to a physical illness like her toothache. Mental illness can affect everybody, but it doesn't show the same problems on the surface or some physical attributes that other illnesses could. However, mental health can still affect you physically, as she described, that you can, with depression, can cause joint pain, weight gain, weight loss. So you can see physical attributions to these mental illnesses. I think when calling for a change, you have to think of the first step, which I think would be educating more people about the issues of mental health and how the statistics of suicide and things like that, because I think that would really catch people's attention and let other people know who aren't as read on the issue that it is an issue and it's a growing problem here in the United States. So I think creating more information about it would be the first step in a call to change. We've begun to understand mental illnesses a lot more recently than we have in the past, which is seen when we were doing reading on previous chapters of mental health, how they use shock therapy, they were put into asylums, and they used eugenics for people who had mental illnesses. Also, back then, I don't think it was as clear as what a mental illness was. I feel like it could have been what we consider mental illnesses now and what was considered a mental illness 100 years ago are different things. I think I remember reading that like a mental illness could have been considered like having a low IQ, whereas I'm not sure if people think of that as a mental illness anymore, rather as a mental disability. I think the last most important thing to think about for a call to change regarding mental health is who's going to provide the change, who should be in control of it. Should it be the federal government, the state government, private practices, public practices? I know these are it almost seems like they all work together. For example, if you go to a psychologist, you can go to a private practice. But if you were in like a behavioral health hospital, I think that would be considered maybe a public psychologist. But also, you have to think about how people from all different ends of the spectrum, all socioeconomic classes, are going to get a hold of these resources, because not everybody has insurance. Not everybody has an insurance that covers psychologists and counselors without a really high copay. Overall, I really liked this week's video, and I loved how Nora, the person giving the TED Talk, explained mental health by first making the audience think about it as it was something, or first giving the physical aspect of the toothache and then connecting it back to her friend's depression. I think this did a great job about to connect everything together, and for some people who have never thought about mental illness this way.